Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Sunday chat today, as I always say, will probably be quite short, and then it probably won't be. Yes, it may well actually be quite short today. We had a look at the cymbidiums, and during that video proposed some work. I will start that as soon as it's practical. And by practical, I mean that individual plants are at a reasonable stage to repot and or split and repot. There's no point in trying to hurry that sort of thing, because you can end up, actually taking off old roots and everything like that, and leaving the plant without too much support underground. Although with cymbidiums, providing they've got nice plump bulbs, they can last for a hell of a long time without any nutrients or water coming up from underneath. And quite honestly, some would say that if they're in that position, it encourages them to grow roots. So, a couple of schools of thought there. So there'll be that coming up. My Pleonie season is it's not over, but it sort of is in some cases. My lovely yellow one, the Shantung, I only had 2 bulbs, 1 flower on each, and they've both gone over now. My Tongariro had a nice set of blooms. I've still got a couple that are healthy. I've got a couple that need cutting off, and the leaves are progressing quite well. I'm talking about plants and not showing you. Yes, so this is now a nice pot full of leaves coming on. We've got bulbils growing on the top of bulbs, which are growing roots, so we've got that going on. More bulbils here. There's a pair there. There's a pair there. They're on maturer bulbs. That's what the flowers go like that in a day or two. When they go over, they mean it. No mucking about. But we've still got some nice ones. I'd say this is always going to be a good performer. It's a huge pot full. I mean, there's lots of immature bulbs in there, bulbils that will grow on, that may produce a big enough bulb to flower next year. Those that have flowered this year will produce bulbs that will flower next year. So this should be a very good show next year, although it's been a pretty good show this year, I must admit. Very pleased with that. This is a relatively new one that's opened that didn't last too long. But lovely delicate flowers, delicate sort of pinks with stripes. So there's that one. That was Santorini, but didn't last long. And then we've got this one here. This is Marion Johnson Bubs. Now this is a very attractive flower. It's not very large though. It's quite a small bloom, but lovely colour, lovely depth of colour in the lip. Gorgeous. Now I bought 3 bulbs. This one's going to die, this one flowered, and this one's going to be blind and just produce a leaf with a new bulb. So the bulbs I bought there, not so good. Not so good. And then the, I'll put that for a minute down there, so I want to get at this one. This one I would class as a star performer, and quite honestly, this one came from the Mathers Foundation, possibly one of the inherited national collection, or even possibly some of their own. But this is Pleonie Vicky, and these are long-lasting blooms, and it's done very well. They're very attractive blooms, nice colours, nice patterning, got a lot going for them, and it looks to be vigorous. So we should end up with a good set of bulbs. This bulb here has produced 2 shoots and a side shoot, so like a bulbil. So that one bulb produced 3. The bulb here produced 2. One flowered, one didn't, but it will next time. and this one over here produced 2 growths. So from the 3 bulbs that I got when I bought that from Mathers, it sounded expensive. I think it was 30 quid, but it was 30 quid really for 3 bulbs. You know, I looked at it at the time, I looked at it at 30 quid for an orchid. It wasn't really. You know, you buy Pleonies as individual bulbs, you know, so that was very good value for money, and that will have bulked up tremendously well by next year, so that's good. So, and others have flowered and gone over already, so that, you know, they've ceased to be as far as flowering is concerned. I've got another one. I've got a pair of bulbs here, and these, yeah, these also came from Burnham's, and this one's only just started shooting. I mean, they're plump bulbs, but this must be a very late bloomer, that's all I can think of. Or it had some sort of treatment that really put it on hold and it won't get going. So that's going to be a late bloomer. And then we've got this one, which will be the only one left to bloom, quite honestly. This also came from Mathers. This is Hertha Kretz, and it looks like one of the bulbs, strangely enough, the largest bulb looks like it's going to be blind and we'll just have a leaf, but it's got 2 shoots, so it'll produce 2 bulbs. The smaller bulb looks like it's going to flower. So, and I should have a picture of what that looks like, seeing as I bought it in bloom from Mathers. So, yeah, that one's still to go. You still got that one to look forward to. So that's an update on the Pleonies. I wanted to do an update on this for Insa, as he organised that for me. He sort of bought it and got it sent to me from a UK supplier, because obviously you can't do stuff from Europe anymore, from the EU. The idea was that I grow this on into a new specimen plant because I lost my old one. That did not take kindly to moving around here at all. This one is growing well. I'd like to find the video of when I got it, you know, when I unwrapped it, so that we could compare the size. Perhaps I'll do that during the week as a sort of exercise. But what I want to do with this is get it out of this plastic pot, because I don't know how long it's been in this coconut husk, but it's probably some time, and the coconut husk could be starting to rot. And if it is starting to rot, it will start to fall off, which I want. I want it out of this because it's a confined root space. You know, the roots can't effectively get out of there, which could mean I've got a hell of a root ball in there and there's no room for new roots. So it could be restrictive. So I want to try and get it out. And to start the ball rolling, if we get it out of the plastic pot and then see how much of it falls off, yeah, and then we'll work on it from there. So that's another job to do in the near future. That's Hercoglossum, by the way, for those of you who don't know. The other thing I wanted to show you, because I don't know how long the blooms will last, is my Sarcochilus. I only have one, and this is a species, Fitzgeraldii, and I'd love to know whether all of these growths round here are going to mature and flower, or whether they're just the seedling growths. In which case I've got one mature growth and another one pushing on behind. Oh, I don't know, there's a third there as well. That one's still growing leaves, as is this one. So maybe I've got more growths to mature and into flowering size as part of this plant. But the blooms on this are incredibly attractive, but you have to get in close. And I don't know whether the camera will focus. It looks like it is. But yeah, it's quite a nice spike. There's still buds to come. Very slow to open as it goes along. But this is the first one that really I've had any success with, and I think it's the lower temperatures that have done that, and keeping it an awful lot drier in the winter. So was that. Seems to be doing okay. There isn't anything else I wanted to... My cristata, one spike's gone already. Where the hell the blooms? Oh, they're down on the floor. I was just to say the blooms have just gone. The other spike will follow on behind. It won't be long now, which is a shame, you know, but then I'll be looking forward to new growths, at which point we will think about moving it in the pot, because we've got a section, as is quite common on cotyledons, of rhizome with no roots. Yeah, well, the new roots will, sometimes they come out with the new growth, sometimes they come out as the new growth matures, and sometimes they come out on the previous bulb as the new growth matures. They do funny things, some of them. So that's that. Yeah, so there's work coming up in here. So whereas I was short of things to film, we've now got overload. There's something missing. There it is. Distinctly missing. Can't have that. Yeah, so we've now got plenty of things to film. I've got one video in hand, which is doing the work on that new Psychopsis that I got. So that's already filmed, that's already posted. I just need to put that live, which will probably be Tuesday's video, because I don't normally post on Mondays. I'd like to try and stick to that if I can. There's a there's a new video over on the other channel, which is a look at my the Shoujo maple. Just a little bit of trimming and a general sort of look at it, because it got sorted in the autumn. Basically, it got repotted last spring, and as a consequence, last year it was just allowed to do its own thing and grow wild, basically, which it did. That encourages a whole new root growth, you know, a whole new set of roots, nice strong roots. So that was sort of hacked back in the autumn, so its spring trim wasn't much at all really. So, but there's, as I said, there is a video on the other channel. There's a few recently, if you're interested in, they're nearly all bonsai videos, because they're the spring trim and tidy up sort of thing. So there's quite a few of those out there. There's a bit of noise outside if the camera's picking it up. Twins next door are playing in the garden. I think they might be helping mum and dad doing a bit of gardening. Helping, yeah, more like getting in the way, I expect. But if they're showing an interest, that's a bonus at that age. What else is going on out here, I mean? Watering frequency is increasing, so RO usage is, you know, I'm having to get the RO unit out a bit more often. That's no big deal. I mean, the tap's just there. I just set it up and let it run, and then fill my containers up and put it away again. It's no big deal. But it means I've got fresh RO water all the time. The trays with the matting, it's going to be incredibly difficult to tell if that does any good. But I look at it this way: it can't do any harm. It can only stay the same or be better. It can't make things any worse. The mouth won't work. Perhaps if I drank some of this. And that's partly, I won't say lack of sleep, but inconsistent sleep. Mojo's not so good now. He can't get up the stairs, he can't jump up onto the settee to get to his fleecy blanket, he has to be lifted all the time, and consequently I'm spending my time with him, all my time. When he's asleep I can get on with orchids and get some food and things like that, but I just spend my time with him at the moment. He won't have much more of it, I don't think. He's not eating much at all now, that's a bad sign. So he's got no weight at all, he weighs nothing, you could lift him up on one finger. But so I sleep down here now in my comfy chair, and he sleeps on my lap all night, which is where he seems to want to be most of the time. He has quite long periods when he sleeps on his fleecy blanket like he is now, but then he'll get up and he'll go and have a drink and perhaps have one mouthful of food. He's certainly not eating much at all. and then he'll come and sit in front of my chair, and if I'm not in it, he'll stare at me as if to say, come on, you know, sit down. So so that's how he is at the moment. So I'm reluctant to go out at all. Now, I don't mind popping out, like round the shop, to get some eggs or something like that, some quick trips, but I'm not happy about going out for any length of time. I don't want to leave him. So today's trip to the Bonsai Society, which would have been 9 till 1, plus the travelling half an hour each end, I wasn't prepared to do. The forecast said it was going to be raining, so I thought, well, that's my excuse. I'm not loading up the car in the rain. But actually the sun's out. So much for the weather forecast. Not even close. Not even close. Perhaps we'll get some rain later in the day. But I just decided not to go. I don't want to be away from him for any length of time at all. The only time that will get difficult is the Orchid Society meeting, that's the second Saturday of April. But that might not end up being a problem. Who knows, we shall see. So that's that update. Painful, but you know, people want to know. What else? World affairs, that can be summed up in one sentence. Excuse the French, but I don't give a shit. I've lost interest in it because it's just lies. Everything is just lies. Coming out of a certain individual's mouth. The annoying thing I find, without getting into too much detail, is the blatant lies that are told, and the people round must know, and they just sit there and don't say anything. And the really sad thing is, it's highly likely one of them will be the next one. Think about it. Somebody who's prepared to stand and listen to blatant lies without saying anything. Do you want them in charge? Ours is just as bad. Our system has always been a two-party system. It's hopefully going to change from now after the last lot. Our parliament is basically two sides, because it's designed around those that are in and those that are in opposition. The whole building is designed around that two-party system. And now that it's not two parties, you've got people squashed up in corners. You know, like it doesn't even work anymore. The building doesn't even work anymore. But the leader of the opposition started off by saying, at the last question time, I asked the Prime Minister 6 questions and he never answered one of them. So let's try again today. And he did exactly the same. He never actually answered any questions at all. And all of that lot, when you see them, when they're interviewed, they either keep talking and won't let the interviewer get a word in, so that they basically make a speech, which is not what they're there for. And it's like reading a script, really, isn't it? Most of them have been told what to say. But yeah, they will not answer a question. They're hopeless, a bloody lot of them. But we've got the local elections coming up in May. They tried to postpone those, yeah, because basically they knew they were in for a hiding, so they said, oh well, we won't have them then. But they've had to do yet another U-turn on that and go back on what they decided. But yeah, that's it could be an eye-opener. And for everybody who wants it to be an eye-opener, it could be a miserable failure, and actually we just get more of the same. It depends how brave people want to be. That's what it really comes down to. But the stuff that they come out with, like every one of them, doesn't matter which department they're in, which minister they, you know, what department they are minister for, they all keep going on about, and we've reduced everybody's energy bill by £150, as though that's Absolutely marvellous. Divide that into 52 weeks, it's £3 a week. That doesn't even buy you a Costa coffee, does it? And bearing in mind, when I fill my car up, that's gone up 20 pence a litre. Think how much extra that is to fill my car up. Yeah? My insurance will have gone up, my tax will go up, my road tax, yeah? My council tax, and, you know, buildings type tax, that's gone up. Yeah? And they think it's so marvellous that they got some money off the energy bills. You could say it's their fault that they're so high in the first place. But yeah, this lot, nearly 2 years into their period that they get before they have to have an election. They can have one before, but they have to have one at that end point. They're still, every time somebody questions one of their policies or what they're up to, every single time they blame the previous government. Are they still going to be doing that at the end of their term, at the end of their period? How much longer can they go on? Somebody came up with a brilliant expression. It was to do with difficulties to do with whether we, as a country, should join in with the Iran war. Well, yes, it's nothing to do with us, but you have to sort of think, well, Ukraine's nothing to do with us really, is it? But it is, it's Europe. We are still part of Europe. But anyway, it was to say, we've still inherited lots of problems from the previous government. And the guy looked up and he said, Winston Churchill had a lot of problems with the previous government, but he managed World War II. That shut him up for a minute or two. But yeah, one gets fed up with the porcupines, basically, because it's the blatancy. I mean, heavily disguised and masked, that's been planned and worked on, you can understand. These are just blatant lies, straight out. And I'm not just on about my lot, I'm on about, you know, wherever you look, basically, wherever there's a government, there's lies. Perhaps it's a prerequisite, perhaps you have to have qualifications, you know. How good a liar are you? Oh, I'm pretty good, you know, I've got a degree. Oh, you get the job then. Oh, what a load of... I'd like to say half-wits, but in amongst them are some very clever people. You'd never believe it sometimes listening to them. So that all goes on in the background, whether we like it or not, and my shopping bill goes up every time I order. It's not like, oh, over the last couple of years it's gone up a bit. No, it's going up every time. So virtually every week, one of my things that I buy relatively regular has gone up. They just keep creeping up and up all the time. Fuel's gone mad, well, for obvious reasons, but yeah. Do you know, there could be a major change in the Middle East because the so-called Western-friendly Middle Eastern countries are getting hit. They're actually getting missiled or bombed, or well, it's not bombed because you need planes in the air to do that. They probably wouldn't last long. But yeah, missiles and drones and stuff. Just because they are an ally of effectively what is the aggressor. But and the fact that they've got American bases on their territories, so they're now a target. Well, there's an easy way to solve that. I wonder if that would happen. I wonder if America would actually be removed from the Middle East in the main. There'll be some countries who just wouldn't. But yeah, how that would change the political front in the whole region. Just basically say, can you close these bases down? We don't want them because they're a danger to our people by existing on our territory. I wonder if that would ever happen. It's a thought. No. Cuckoo land, dreamland again. But yeah, it's the whole region is a mess. Has been for donkey's years. It's not like this is something new. It's been a mess for ages, and probably will be forevermore, because I don't see an end to it as long as a certain country exists and keeps invading its neighbours and attacking them and bombing them. And you know, made me laugh actually. There was I don't know what position the guy was in, but it was somebody in Israel, probably in Tel Aviv or something, was complaining that Iran had launched a what do they call those, cluster munition that basically splits up into lots of individual ones on a civilian area. Sunshine, your army killed 60,000 Palestinians, of which 2/3 were women and children. And you're complaining that one munition happened to land in a built up area. Oh, world's smallest violin. Get a lot of sympathy from me. But yeah, it's not the individual people, is it? It's not the ordinary people that are the problem. But then in the main, those ordinary people elected the leaders. You can hold your hand up somewhere. And what else are we going to say? Oh yes, because the house is in upheaval at the moment, obviously. I don't know. I can't plan that far ahead at the moment. I mean, quite honestly, I don't even plan the next meal properly anymore. I just open the freezer and think, what do we have then? And then I keep topping it up with the shopping that gets delivered to the door. But yeah, I'm just sort of going along from day to day at the moment. That's it's the best I can do. I've got no interest in doing stuff in the garden. I really haven't. It's just doesn't appeal to me. And I can't see forcing myself. You must go out and do gardening. Yeah, I'll do it when I'm ready, but at the moment I'm not. And unfortunately the decking's all been ripped apart, and at some point it's going to have to be put back together again. So I will have to get on with that. But there isn't a huge amount of work out there anyway. There's a fair old bit of weeding could do with doing and what have you. I think I'm actually going to have to get the watering can out later today, because there's some of the tubs look really dry. One of them actually looks dead. We just haven't had, we've had what you would call, as far as gardens are concerned and tubs, containers, we've had a trickle of rain now and again. We haven't had substantial rain now for some time. So having complained that we've had far too much, we're now not getting enough without me intervening. But yeah, I think I ought to chuck some water on some of the things out there. Doesn't take long. You know, say the outside tap's just there, the watering can's just there. So not like I've got to walk miles. I feel sorry for my son and his wife and my grandson. They've got an allotment. Now, other countries might not understand that, but this is large areas of land that are divided up into little plots, and you can rent a plot, and then you grow stuff on it. You know, you grow your vegetables, or you have a little mini greenhouse, grow tomatoes or something. But it's a little growing area to do with as you please. And they've got one of those, but you know they've got to get all the tools and the wheelbarrow and everything in the car and travel to actually get there. My garden's just outside the door, and sometimes I forget what a luxury that is, because some people who live in flats, they've got a little balcony. Well, again, you can have containers, and watering those would be easy. But if you sort of think about people in flats, they have no garden. Now some flats, like where Hannah lives, they've got communal gardens, and she's got permission, I suppose you could call it, to look after parts of those communal gardens. So she's now got some gardens that she thinks of as her own, yeah, for the first time ever. Just in the last couple of years that's happened. Some stuff's gone from here up to there, sort of thing. But yeah, there is something quite therapeutic about gardening and being in gardens. There's something, just sitting listening to the birds and the bees and watching the butterflies and, you know, and the hoverflies and things like that. And if you've got a pond, you know, the dragonflies and the damselflies, all that. Something very peaceful and relaxing about all of that, providing you don't look at the work you need to do. Otherwise you start thinking, oh, I must get on with that. We're back to not wanting to do it again. There we go. Yes, so my sets of orchids, my Miltoniopsis, I've got a couple that are doing great and a couple that aren't. This one's doing fabulous. But it's not a brilliant plant, it's 2 bulbs, they're nice big fat bulbs, but it's opening up its last few blooms now. That is on camera, just about. So as a set of plants, they're not brilliant. My Coelogenes in the main are doing pretty good, not doing bad as a set. My Masdevallias, again, in the main, aren't doing bad. My Odonts, not doing so good. But some of them are okay. I won't say they're brilliant, but they're okay. What else we got? Cymbidiums, I'm happy, they're okay. My Dendrobiums, some are okay and some are still failing. You know, they've just never recovered from the move. My Paphiopedilums aren't doing bad. Well, some are doing great, and I've got one that's not doing very well at all. But I think a repot might actually kick that one off again. It just won't grow roots. I've had it 2 years now and it hasn't grown a root. But it's flowered. Yeah, so something a bit funny going on with that one. But yeah, as I said, the Pleonies of... I'll class that as a new genus as a success. But the real success will be what happens next spring. How many new bulbs I've got, and how many of those come into bloom. That will be the real test. So that will be the results of this year's growing season, because most of what I've got is the results of somebody else's growing season, not mine, because I bought the bulbs in from Burnham's in the main. So that's that. My nobly type Dendrobiums are doing okay. We still haven't found that offending whatever it is, slug or snail. But then it hasn't done any more damage since that little bit that was found, and it was only a little bit, I must admit. So it's obviously found something to chew that I haven't spotted yet. Possibly, I don't know. Right, what have we got? That's more than enough. And for those who like the really long ones that are an hour long, well, it isn't going to be that long because I've done now. But we've still got the thank yous to do, and I'll have to apologise again. I got a big note in my work area for YouTube, the studio, big note about memberships, a sort of well done thing. I thought, hello, what's going on here? Went into the memberships, and I've got 3 new members. Technically, I think it's 4, but one I think is a rejoin. And I haven't got the names to read out now, even though I've said I'll always do shout outs. But what I will do is I will do a pop-up now with the new members, and they will be added to the roll call at the end. That roll call is going to be half the video if we keep getting new members, and I don't care. The more the merrier, keep them coming. So thank you very much for the new people that have joined as a YouTube member. There's no new members on the Patreon site, but thanks for those that are still there. You know, it's all very well not getting any new ones, but nobody's left either, which is always good. Maintaining what I've got, you know, is well worth doing from my point of view. So thanks for the members in whichever place you are a member. And yeah, I'm pleased with the progress of the channel, albeit slow, but it's upwards, and that's all I can ask for. I can't suddenly generate loads and loads of new viewers. I mean, it's quite a while ago now, I redesigned my thumbnails to make them a little bit more gaudy, a little bit more attractive. I took off the introduction, because a lot of people now have got got the attention span of a goldfish, I think is the expression. And as a consequence, an introduction can be enough to actually get somebody to bail out and not even start watching the video, apparently. So I took that off, so I made some changes. I've now added on an end, which gives me the opportunity to put some end screens on, which are follow-on videos, because if they aren't there, somebody doesn't get the choice to choose one, do they? So I've added that on. Quite a few people have commented that they like the new ending. It's basically just a bottle pouring a glass of wine. We like that with some music, but it gives me the spaces to put end screens, you know, add-on videos, and my subscribe button as well. So it's there. You know, if your mouse goes over it or your finger goes over it, it pops up. So that's been done. And I can't do much more than that, really. Unfortunately, looking at all these channels that tell you how to run your YouTube channel, what to do to get it better, how to get 10,000 views in 2 minutes, you know, all those silly little videos. When you're in a niche like orchids, there's only so much you can do, because there are only so many people interested. You can't attract people into an interest on a topic like that unless they already are to a degree. You just can't do it, you know. It's like, what can I think of? Car maintenance, yeah? If you never maintain your car and you always take it to the garage, you wouldn't be interested in a car maintenance channel, would you? You know. If you've got no interest in fishing, because you don't live near any rivers and you can't go fishing, you wouldn't be interested in fishing channels. So when you get down into niche, you know, subjects, there's only so much you can do. And I think I've probably done most of what I can do. I try and have a good variety of subjects. You know, we do repotting, we do chats about care for certain sort of genus or individual species sometimes. We do visits to places now and again. We go to shows where you get to see, you know, orchid displays and things like that. Lots of people can't get to a show. You know, some people have to get on an aeroplane to go to a show, they're that far away. And a lot of people have never been to a show. So actually, you know, having a look round in video form is something they can perhaps enjoy. So I try and get variety into the channel. I even put a chair together the other day. Nothing to do with orchids, obviously, but my channel isn't just orchids. It is it's sort of along the lines of the life and times. So I do include other things that are going on now and again. They don't dominate. It's still basically orchids in some shape or form. So thanks for those who watched the videos. Thanks for doing the thumbs up. Quite honestly, unless you didn't like a video, there's no good reason not to do that thumbs up. It does help the channel. It's not just a silly little thing that's there that doesn't matter. It does matter. It costs nothing and it takes a second, whatever type of unit you're on, whether it's a tablet, a phone, laptop, whatever. It's just there. Donk, done. And the same with subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so, and if you have, thank you. Despite its expression, there is no money involved. You're not paying to subscribe to the channel. You are just saying, I like this channel and I don't mind new videos popping up on my news feed. That's what you're saying. And if you want actual notifications of new videos, then you switch that on as well. I don't recommend doing that for my channel because I post almost every day. Yeah? So you don't really need telling that I've just posted a video. If you want, by all means set that on. But it's not as essential for some others. I mean, you've got some, there's one orchid channel I know specifically posts once a week on Friday. It's regular. See, now that would worry me to death because I'd be paranoid that I didn't have anything for Friday. Whereas if I've got something for Friday, tomorrow, whatever, I'll post it. So I post randomly, but it is most days. Occasionally you even get 2 on a day, in a day, whatever. So that's how I sort of run my channel, and that's how I try and be within the channel. And hopefully it's appreciated by those that are hanging around. I assume if you're hanging around, you must like what you see, or you wouldn't be here, would you? So thanks. Yeah. And don't forget the hypes. I'm always harping on about the hypes, but it's quite unusual for YouTube to do something nice for channels, especially the smaller ones. So the least we can do is use it. You know, it's a tool that we've been given. So the least we can do is use it. Trouble is, I think it's only available on phones. It's not available on tablets or laptops or computers or any other device really. It's only available on phones, and it might not even be available on all smartphones. I don't know that one way or the other. I know it's available on iPhones because I use it myself. So, but yeah, use it. You know, it gets refreshed. You get 3 new ones every Monday morning when you get up, and yeah. And in this country, we'll have lots of people moaning about, it's messed me up. I don't know where I am. I don't know when breakfast is. And man up. The clocks have moved forward an hour. We are now on British summertime. It happens every year and has done for longer than most people have lived. And it's the same every time. You get people that moan about it. Oh, it's messed me up. I don't know where I am. You know. Well, perhaps it's different for me because I get up when I need to get up, if you see what I mean. Soon, in a month or two, it'll be getting light around the time I get up. Well, that'll be good because they'll go together then, because at the moment they don't. It's always dark when I get up. But getting up in the morning now is quite a simple thing. I just stand up. Yeah. And that's how it is for a while. So yeah, so thanks for being members, thanks for watching the videos, thanks for the thumbs up, thanks for watching some of the adverts, because that's how YouTube pays the creators. All these videos you watch are created by somebody. Somebody's done some work to get them up there, and the way they get some sort of reward is that some adverts are watched. So there's that there as well. And the Sunday chat video format hasn't changed, and I won't change it. I'll leave that one as it is. But I am going to start putting an end screen on because I'm missing an opportunity. It's my most popular video most of the time. Therefore, there's more people watching this one than the others. And to not have a follow-on video is just an opportunity wasted, basically. So I won't change the ending, but there will be an end screen that pops up with my doodah button to subscribe. So if you haven't subscribed, you're going to get a button in front of you in a minute. It's a big R, a big red R with a gold band around it. Get on there and subscribe. Otherwise, I'll come and find you. I know where you live. Only joking. I'd love to be able to recite that thing from Taken, you know. I don't have any money, but so be it. And I will see you next time. Thanks for dropping by, and the next video will be dealing with that new Psychopsis that was sent as a gift. So we'll be having a long chat about Psychopsis in general, how to look after them, why they're classed as fussy, and what I've done with it to try and accommodate it in this environment. So it's quite an informative video. So that will be the next one, and that'll be first thing Tuesday morning, British summertime, just to rub it in. I can't see how that upsets so many people. It'll upset on the other end as well. See, this end, technically you lose an hour's sleep, you know, because at something like 2 o'clock in the morning you wind your clocks on to 3 o'clock. Well, most of the clocks in the world now change automatically. My laptop does, my phone does, my little workstation in the kitchen does. I've got one manual clock that I have to get hold of and twist a little knob, and that's the one that lives over on that windowsill that I can see from any of the seats. Yeah, So that's why that manual clock's there. I don't have to press buttons or turn something on to see what the time is. It's just there. So that one I had to change this morning. At 4:30. Yeah, it's 4:30. Let's wind it forward to 5:30 and it'll feel a lot better. No, it won't. It's exactly the same. But the one thing that is changing quite dramatically now is the amount of daylight hours. That is a bonus for orchid growers in the UK. That is a real bonus. Take advantage of it. Yeah? Move things into better light. Find better windowsills to put things on or whatever. And if you've got a greenhouse, you should be thinking about shading if you haven't already done it. I don't have to worry about that. This faces north. Anyway, see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.